Yo. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the cave. I actually heard that this time. What's going on? What's happening? How's life going? Let me get that going first. We had a rough after hours trading day when we shouldn't have been. As you can see there, we lost 549.56 for 191 negative on these account or on this account. For the week, we're up 2,772 on that account. Okay. Let's just move that out of the way, I guess. That happens. Boom. What we're doing right now is we're marking out the previous day's high and then as well as the previous day from that. So I guess I could say days, last two highs and lows of the day. We'll bust that in here because that looks about where the first 5 minutes are. Go ahead and do that. Check that out. I don't know how everybody's day's going. I didn't get much sleep at all last night. We did unbox the Centauri Carbon yesterday. Got some print going last night. It did keep me up, the printing itself and the light. We'll go ahead and check that out in a sec if we get time. Just want to get these all situated and we'll get the other one situated. Boom. It's close enough. It doesn't have to be exact. Sometimes I want to be exact. Let's see, now that's, oh, sweet. Boom. All right, bam. We got that going on. We'll bust this back out to the 500. We'll do this side real quick. This one's actually pretty easy because it does them all for us, basically. It snaps, snaps, snap, snap. I don't think they're 100% on. Like, it might have snapped to something else. You gotta watch out for that. So there's certain things that I like in WealthCharts, certain things I don't like. I like having ticks, but I also like having, I don't know, I like having them both. Let's just say. So we can pop that up. That's already in the right spot, but we'll go ahead and smash that down. So now that it's like that, we can actually load up what we want there. Boom, boom. Multi-time. This is the way we like to trade here on the 1 minute chart. This is the other account. It is being copy traded one-to-one. That's actually one of the things that I like about that account. These accounts is that you can actually set a different ratio. I could set like 0.25. So with this So when one 5 contracts, it'll just do one on the other. That's pretty cool. If you want to see here, I also do have our thing here. Let's get Hola Prime up. I like having them up.
We're waiting for.
That's one of the prop firms that we do have as well. We just don't really trade it because we're very much into futures.
The sideways movement.
We've
Yeah,
got our bad boy going on. I actually like watching the S&P.
It's funny how that you get
500
that
even though
way
I'm
where the market
trading
kind of has these
into.
big rampant moves and then it just goes nowhere. For a couple of
Probably
weeks.
a reason why I don't do good.
Yeah,
I mean, they do
yeah,
follow
that's
each other.
essentially what we're doing. I guess
bit.
lastly on the dollar majors, dollar Canada.
Come
on. This one's interesting. I wasn't really I wasn't really focusing on the big picture in that we've got these two massive highs.
I think it's
going
easier
way,
to
way
see the
back
numbers.
that this recent rally has stalled at. So there's clearly a kind of like a, overvalued, undervalued type thing going on here with dollar Canada. So I wasn't really focusing on these two highs, but I was much more kind of just looking
As you
at
can
this whole
see,
wave structure here that looked quite
I
turning.
don't know. I mean, I guess I could
But
change
yeah,
this.
I think the fact that we've done a 1 and a 2 and we're breaking down, I think
These are always changing the way what's delayed, what's not
resistance
delayed.
zone, looks quite bearish to me.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're back
Why
under
do
this old ceiling
They
as well,
look vastly different today.
is quite an important level, I think.
I guess we have to
The old
try to
strong
figure
line,
this
which is
out.
what, 139.
So we're gonna
No,
pop this
it-
up on our
it-
top
it came
monitor,
back
back to
and,
our top monitor.
On this week, we had that long upper shadow, lower shadow rather. So it broke down, sprung back up again. And
I'm gonna do
I
this
think,
for a
was the
sec.
opportunity for dollar
It's on the
Canada to
week.
face, but obviously there was no
Looks like it
follow-through
is
next
coming up,
week,
but we are losing volume.
which is why it's good sometimes.
Or we
obviously,
did.
to
The volume
for
hasn't
some
caught
kind
up
of
yet. This might be
confirmation
where the volume
with,
is.
using these one reversals.
What we're gonna do
But
here.
yeah, it did that kind of. It looked quite good, and it even.
I think
kind of
we're
those,
in this zone here
It, took out kind of a. If you were looking at an A, B, and C, it took out an A
of
leg
2022.
closed back above it. So that
So
could
I
have been quite,
am expecting
quite a
more
bullish,
to the down.
Elliott,
I just don't know when.
Setup. But obviously there was no
That might,
follow-through.
may or may not
Next week.
No,
So
be the
confirmation.
case. You never know. You know
no,
how it
no,
is.
not at all. No closing.
You know how
confirmation,
trading
no break
is.
confirmation either. You could have took it
Wild.
on
It's
a
like the
break,
wild,
but
wild
didn't
west.
happen. So yeah, in fact, the market just continued
But
down.
right now we're just going
and
ahead
it's set
and getting
back
all
below
set up. We're a
this,
little late.
This level. I
I
think,
think we have found.
one would normally expect this level to be
We
holding.
should probably
If you're looking at just basic
Yeah.
support and resistance analysis.
probably do.
I would expect.
To be
What
honest,
it's done, it's gone back in, closed below it
is-
for what, 1, 2, 3 weeks now.
go back to journaling.
So that for me is kind of.
I mean, it would
negating
make
this,
sense
this area
if we
as a
did that,
support
since we
zone.
did
And it does kind of tie a little bit
change
with,
to
what I'm
trading
thinking of in
futures.
terms of
It
the
almost
longer
looks
term.
like it
Heavily
could
and
be a
almost
triangle,
exclusively,
sort of like
if
a
that makes
descending
sense.
triangle type of vibe there, prior to that breakout.
So I
This
think
one-
that's
this one here.
probably a thing. Because what I am
Yeah, just a
suspecting,
ver-
to be honest, is that I trade
Yeah, just literally kind of, yeah. It
better.
may,
Then we
may
could
even.
have maybe
during
an
7
A,
o'clock. Anyways, here's a.
B breakout.
Here is the
And,
Yeah.
yeah, generally, I don't know if you agree with that, but generally, if you have
Still have more.
triangles that tend to
Maybe
pop up
it breaks and
as
maybe
a
it touches
penalty
here.
corrective
We have had
Yeah.
quite a bit.
highs or lows.
I mean, you could see we
So,
had
yeah,
1, 2,
usually
3,
wave
4,
B or wave
5, and then
four.
2 red, and
Yeah,
then
which
3.
could, lend credence
1,
to
2,
that potentially being a very
3,
soft top
4,
price
5.
area.
Okay, so that's not uncommon.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't have a clear count on the thing, just
Yeah.
knowing that it's a triangle that leads
Quite
into a triangle
possible we
structure
run
is
another
a good,
Green
to
day.
know, I think.
I don't know. I'm always ready for the
So I
downside.
think, and not to mention the fact
The way I think
you know,
it's
we
going
topped
to
out at that
end
key level as
today
well. So it looks
is
to be kind of
likely
stepping down
around
in
the
bear trend
same.
for me. Kind of, swing correction.
Probably
We haven't had a
see
big correction to the upside
lots of
yet.
sideway action,
happens with
maybe a
lower
down
bounce.
retesting here. I wouldn't be surprised.
So, yeah, so that's really where I stand on the dollar majors.
I'm gonna go ahead and put this
I'll
back
come
up
back to
here.
some of the crosses a bit later, yeah, if you want.
And then we're
have
just
a
gonna
Sure.
see what we are
Have a
seeing.
look. Go for it. Okay, I'll just stop
Cool,
sharing.
cool, let's do that. I'll share my screen quick.
So from open, the first 5
what am I
minutes,
doing?
we already are coming
Is
down.
it showing up there? Perfect.
Let's see. Yep, just come through. Yep, perfect.
Looking at the NASDAQ yesterday, during that time window, we've had a pretty strong sell-off into it during the overnight session, and one heck of a reversal back up again. But with yesterday's
You guys want to
news that
see
came
this?
out, didn't take this, and in fact, price just ran away. Even if I did, there was
Order
a fair value
filled.
gap, this little
Stop
small
filled.
triangle down here.
Oh,
But as you can see, price just
no.
boom went
Haha.
straight back to the upside again. And this has sort of been the, how can I say, a
Order
recurring
filled.
occurrence.
All right. We tend to
While
do
price
this.
is
We
sort of
tend to jump
grinding
in,
slowly to the upside here
then
for
work
quite
from
a
behind.
few days, I would say almost a week or a bit longer. And yeah, so currently looking at the morning liquidity sweep strategy that I like trading here on the NASDAQ, obviously price made a strong move back upwards
Kind
again.
of seems like it's
And we got
struggling.
these clusters
Stop
of
filled.
lows here spanning
We'll probably
roughly
re-enter somewhere around here.
100% between 19,816 on the upper side.
Just had to feel good about myself right there.
On the downside. So
Oh, we are
I'll
not
be willing
re-ent-
to take a long position here.
Should have just kept it
Again,
in.
with this strategy, I want to see price take out levels. Often when you got clusters of many, let's say in this case, high lows or double bottoms, triple bottoms, whatever you
Oh,
call
we
it,
did cross over there.
then I
Let's
would
see
like to
what
see
everything
price
looks
just
like.
clear that zone to the downside and start seeing some upward pressure again. That stage,
On the
if that
15
doesn't
second, that's
occur,
hitting
I'll
on the
switch
top
to
of the
1 minute time
trend.
frame. Look for price structure breaks, or
On
for
the
change
5
character, some
minute.
people call it. Look for fair value gaps that form bullish fair value gaps. And
Not
see if
so
that can get into
much.
a trade to the upside. That's the NASDAQ. Then we got the SPX 500, same sort of thing, price action wise. Although here, just before the 930 mark, price actually tested these clusters of lows, retested it now again, and
It's
we
true.
might get that bounce back upwards again.
That
This
makes
on
me
a smaller time
want
frame,
to think
although
that
I
we're
hate
Order
using
bouncing back
filled.
smaller
up.
time
All right, it
frames.
did break the
Sometimes
top
they
here.
do stand out nicely. It could be an ABCX, ABC, or WXY pattern, potentially.
We may be
With a bounce
going back to the
upwards.
opening.
So I might have to be quick on this one. I'll just quickly go through.
This is the top of yesterday's.
Yeah.
So lots of
High.
overlaps on that. So
Lots of overlap.
corrective looking.
That's right. So here on crude oil, obviously been moving lower very, very strongly. If I want to get short again, I want to see price take, because price is currently moving upwards within my trading window.
I'm dropping into
Potentially
profit
taking
there.
out these
We'll let
clusters
that
of
smash and hit
middle.
it. And then it'll
Again, we're
probably
sitting with
continue
this
up and then we'll
wick
be mad
over
about
here.
it.
So whether price will
Stop
test that or
filled.
not, who knows?
But
if we can just break above this little zone I've just drawn
we are
over there,
here ready to take
lower side
profits.
58.12, upper side 58.90.
We're jumping in
Again,
on this
then
account
very
over
quickly,
here. We want it.
Not being
It did
accurate.
break.
Order
Obviously can't
filled.
be very accurate with this type of analysis, but you know, just planning ahead. If price breaks above this little zone to the upside, and we get a decline,
All right, we did
then
take a little bit of
potentially
profit
that could be
there.
Short on crude oil. Just quickly here on the SPX 500. This is a chart
We're gonna
I've
leave
been
this one
showing the
in no
viewers
matter what.
since Monday, and this is on the
We're
daily.
gonna check to
Sorry,
see if there's
for-
any news.
the daily. So price has for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then yesterday finally broke above this little red zone.
You know
here,
what?
Which was a previous
I think this
area with
account,
support.
We should let
Break,
trades
price
happen.
broke through it. And we also had a fair
Okay, for
value
the
gap
next
as
day
price
into,
broke
we're gonna let
through
these
those areas of
happen.
support.
We're
That's what price
566.
has been stuck about
I think
so
we're
far.
actually
The
negative
price has struggled to get
still.
through it. Yesterday, actually, it
We're gonna let
moved
this
lower,
go.
and as one
See what
of
happens.
our viewers actually pointed out, price was
Any news
retesting
today?
a
Today
downward
is
sloping trend
Thursday.
line.
None
Found
at
support.
7.
And my thinking was, if price would then
We have
continue
some
lower
news that
without
came in for the
go below
Aussie.
this trend line
We
again,
got some that's coming
there was
in
a fair
for
value gap here on the
JPY. We'll
4
probably
hour,
take a
which
look
is
at
not
that.
showing you on the daily. Price would break below that, that could be
I'm
potential
sorry, we have to.
However, price is now broken.
We have to get
above
that in there.
that zone that it's been testing for quite some time, and to me that's pretty bullish. We might be seeing a move upwards here, depending on obviously what and how
We're
the
gonna leave
market's
that
gonna
the way
react
that
to the
is.
news tomorrow, if at all. towards 5730, maybe this high over here at 5787. Now, just quickly before I switch back to the other charts,
Order
on
filled.
the 4-hour, price is also within some more resistance here, and in the shape of a pretty large fair value gap over here. If you guys can see that, all right.
Will it
But
give
it's
it to
sort
us?
of at the upper end of it.
Will it?
So, what
I don't
could
know,
say
it's
if we get a
struggling.
strong break up here maybe today?
Kind of want to just
then,
take.
you know, that could be.
This is definitely a
sign
time to
that price
take.
might be
I just added the
5787. All right, but I'll be very
Oh,
cautious.
we're likely to get hit here.
I've been telling the other coaches as well. I really want this week to sort of end.
Stop,
all
Phil.
these news
We did.
events to
We did. We're down
be over, so we
69.
hopefully start seeing a clear sort of.
So we're not
direction
going to
for
count
next
the initial.
now, for me, yes. You
Well,
know,
I guess we
we've got
can.
a clear
At
direction
1,000,
breaking
we'll
above these areas of
cut this.
resistance. But this obviously is now clear in hindsight. But
Order
since
filled.
yesterday,
I
we've
want
been
this
stuck in
one.
this area for a considerable amount of time. So maybe this is the initial sort of push towards high prices.
Let that come
So we're
down.
going to see a retest of that area, which would be quite nice to
Touch
actually
it.
get in a little bit lower, and then see a push up if you see any signs of a push
Yeah,
up
man.
after a test of this low
Come on, you
or
can
these
do it.
areas, maybe today,
You
tomorrow,
can do it.
whenever. Then that could be a nice area to get long. Alternatively, price might just comes down straight down, slice through that again, and then that will be bearish again. So who knows where the market's going to go? We'll just have to keep very
See,
close
this is
eye
why
on
I don't
price action.
Stop
right?
filled.
like
Now, I just
doing
wanna
that.
quickly look here
This is why I
at
like grabbing
both
profits
the
when I
SPX
can.
and the NASDAQ. We have now cleared those zones on both of these charts. So if I'm to switch to 1 minute time frame here,
Should have took that sale.
price has, number one, broken an area of potential support, or not support, I would say swept liquidity. And the next thing would be to wait for a break of structure. And I want to see this on 1 minute.
Order
So
filled.
we had a clear little 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh,
type
I'm
of
guessing
move
now.
lower
I'm
here.
starting to guess.
me,
Don't
the
move stop losses.
Area with
That
the
is bad.
clearest sort
I've
of
learned
previous
that the
price
hard
structure
way.
would be around about here. Right, so I'm just going to get rid of this drawing tool.
Yeah.
Let's mark that up. And that is around.
We are going to struggle in this
19,000.
area. I don't know why I took that
Stop
trade.
filled.
Every
Get my
Mazda
magnet
is
marked out
engineered to
first.
give you
Let's
effortless
leave that.
control.
Use a
It
better
does look
tool.
like they're trying to break down.
Let's
Damn.
use the horizontal
What are we
line.
doing?
19,860.
Okay, it is coming down.
If we
Testing.
can get a break above that, that is for me a change of character or a break of structure. Do we have a fair value gap that formed prior to that break? Currently, we don't have a break, so obviously we have to wait for that.
It is
Fantastic
really
looks
wanting
like
this.
Looks quite strong.
Order
I'm
filled.
getting a nice push up here. So
I'm gonna.
price doesn't have to close above that area. I just want to
I'm
see a
gonna
break.
try.
If we see a break of
The
the
downside real quick.
19,868 level, then we do have a fair value gap that formed down here. Then I would like to take a long on a retest of that area to the upside, if price allows me to do that. Sometimes it's just too strong and it goes one direction. There might be a fair value gap that formed a little bit higher up. If you're very aggressive, obviously this candle hasn't
grab that
closed
just
yet,
because it's
but
hitting
let's
the
assume
support
that candle closes bullish as well, and we have a fair value
line.
gap there.
I don't know why I
Stop
call it
That's
Bill.
something
support
I
line,
want,
but
it's just
there's
too high up for me. All right, so I want to be a bit more
the trend line
conservative. I want a better price.
bouncing off the trend line.
And assume that after the break of structure, after the run of that zone,
All right, now
we
we're
might be
now
doing
we're starting to
something
grab
like
some
a
stuff
1,
back.
2, and hopefully either
Order
I still
filled.
want to
see
take the
that can go
sell
higher, or 1, 2,
one more
3
time.
to go much higher. If that makes sense. All right, so I'm
I actually
gonna
wanted
go
to see it come down to the opening.
and
How about midway?
put a buy limit order there,
Yeah, I want to see it come down to the opening.
and I will click send order, and I will attach a stop loss. In this case, just below the swing here.
We're gonna drop that there, just in case it bounces here.
Right, confirm that.
Starting to break down now.
And from a target perspective, potentially challenge or look for
We forgot to
Okay,
also
size.
keep this at the 5.
the overnight session.
That's
highs.
crazy. What a time not to do it.
Just visually looking at this,
I guess it's
that
helped
looks
us
like more than
not
a
lose as
1 to
much.
2 ratio, so it looks pretty decent. All right, so that would be a setup potentially there on the NASDAQ. Let's quickly look how the S&P 500 is doing. Also a strong push to the upside.
Order filled.
Closing that out.
Sometimes one between the two, obviously they follow each other in direction. It's only breaking price
All right,
structure right
let's
now.
see where we are.
We're also sitting with a fair value
Let's
gap.
see what is
Just look
happening.
at price structure point there.
I will take this trade. Here's probably, this is kind of a gamble, to be honest. Just look at this wick. It's likely to go fill that back up. I'm going to put that there just in case.
Yeah, also low down.
We're watching for more of a drop here.
So I'm not going to trade both markets, either one or the other. Okay. In this case,
All right,
there's
we
an
take a little
ABC
bit.
potential to
We're
the
doing
upside.
pretty good.
I really would like to see also the ES take out that high.
We're just kind of waiting.
But, you know, you can go
waiting.
thumbs up,
I mean,
thumbs
that
down,
was a
do
good
wick. You
break.
should
We
use-
should
you
probably
should
kept
use
that in. This
whatever
wick
it
kind of
is.
scared me.
I'm going to keep it there.
Even though that's more of a wick
Um,
for the
Very
downside.
quickly,
A lot of times it wants to go
we
bust
have
up and
now
fill
taken
that
out
back in.
that area. Strong push
Just
up
a
to the
wild
upside.
swing up and then come
Again,
back
this is
down.
very minute, obviously, on a 5-minute time frame, especially after.
All right, we're
various
doing
funding.
pretty good
The question here is,
today.
will price take out this high or just run these clusters and potentially
We'll have to
reverse low? Who knows?
Make that up. And
So,
by that I mean make that up.
yeah.
I don't mean like we're gonna go crazy with our trading.
That being said, we also have the what's that news event? ISM manufacturing PMI in 10 minutes time.
10 minutes, 10 minutes.
time. So, got to be careful.
We do have a
you know,
JPY.
what are we
not
trading into
JPY,
it?
We have a
Do I want to open a position
British pound open.
before that?
yesterday.
Probably not. But I'll be keeping my eye on this. Potentially, the longer price mucks around here. If it gets to about 2-3 minutes
It is
before
hitting
and I
this
start
spot
seeing volatility,
here.
I'll probably
So you can see
cancel
that's a
this
bit of
trade.
a resistant
I'd like
line
to see
there.
price slow down a little bit and then get into that area and move to the upside.
I don't know where a blue line
So I almost
happens
forgot
to be
about that,
now.
so you gotta be careful. It's not unusual. You get these big spikes up and down. You get stopped out.
We might have
and,
lost it.
You know,
Let me go to
should
the
stay
day
out of the
chart
trade.
or the
I
week
do not
chart
trade
real
news.
quick.
I hate trading news. Used to do that in the past.
Yeah, I don't think we
but
have
my
that
fingers
blue
burn
line
many,
anymore.
many times.
It actually might be
So,
on
yeah.
this one, but that's fine.
That's
Yeah,
me.
I guess once that
Oh,
that
left
I guess that once that piece of
wingspan
news is out of the way,
Is
then
brought to you
it's
by
kind
Apple
of
Card.
plain sailing
Apply
into
for
the
Apple
close.
Card in the
isn't it?
Wallet
I
app
think
and
if-
start
Go back
using
you
it
know,
right
if it-
away with Apple Pay.
if it does spike
Subject
up
to
or down,
credit
doesn't
approval.
reach my
Apple
buy
Card issued
order,
by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City
then
branch. Terms and
oh my
more
God,
at
here we go down now.
applecard.com.
So I don't know about
With
this.
Asana, AI teammates can pull
You know, the
real-time
closer
data
it gets
and
to
help
the
you work
zone
smarter.
before that news
ads and the
event,
music.
Work smarter
you know, I've got a
and
very
faster.
good chance
Let's
that
go
price
ahead and
hooks
ban
these
this
lows
left
again,
guy
then
because
we
we
get
don't
back.
really care about the cheap
And it
viewers.
takes me out.
At Asana.
And then you have to
We
try
don't
again, and
care.
you're already sitting with a loss. So
We care about our viewers, but
Yes.
not you, their
it's difficult.
fake
Uh,
viewers.
Deciding what
Yeah,
to do.
it's very choppy.
Pulls
It
on-
is break.
Oh, I
It
don't
did break
trade you.
below.
Yeah, very choppy in the
Where's
very
our
short term.
cool
Yeah. So what I'm going to
horizontal
do, just
line
for
here?
safety, is cancel that order for now. Howard, maybe if you want to chat about anything else, let's have a look again at the charts
Yeah,
in 9
sure.
minutes time when that news comes out.
Gotcha. Okay, let me just jump in and show you what I'm thinking of. I'm on the euro dollar. I'm already long, obviously, from this morning, but I'm thinking about adding once we get a break
I
above
think I'd
today's
be
session
more happier
high.
there.
Should we get a break above today's session high? So this is kind of zooming into the 5-minute.
Order submit. Order filled.
So
Uh-oh.
there's me entry there 113.031. I bought into the dip basically, and then we saw the kind of.
We're gonna
initial
try and
move
take
higher,
this down to
and
the
then the choppy
previous
action.
day's
This
high.
was the kind of weekly jobs numbers here, so that kind of stopped the rot, if you will, in terms of the attempt at resuming the recent downtrend. So we had that boom powerful move up. So since those numbers, we've settled into a bit of a short-term range. But for me, I think if
We're
we
just
can
gonna see.
find ourselves breaking through session highs once the last piece of strong
Please bounce right here.
news for the day is out the way, then that for me would that's the verdict of the day, that we're going to see a rally into the close. So
all right, and actually it
but
might
basically
move this
looking
down.
to add, should we make a new high for the global session on euro dollar. So that's so obviously let's see what the
We're gonna get hit right
brings.
now.
Maybe it brings a kind of a
773.
continuation of the recent
Order
strong
filled.
And we'll
see the
take
dollar
that because
go
we
up,
still
and then
want the
see
down.
another push to new lows. We'll see how we do. But interesting to see that the market is starting now to react to weak news.
That's where we're
coming out.
hoping a runner runs to.
Before, obviously, the weak news is being a little bit ignored during this correction on euro dollar. Weak news should mean that euro dollar goes higher.
And that's
Strong
not
US
because
economy
of
means euro dollar should
the
be going
fib.
lower because the dollar strengthens.
It is because that is where
so as
the
I say,
next
early days.
level,
This 112.875
next range is.
very close to the level we were talking about before on the.
Is there some hidden news that we just?
Charts.
Stop filled.
Oh my gosh! I think it blew right past.
Just to kind of remind. So
That's
on the weekly
hardcore.
chart, we have the wave 1 higher, the ABC for wave 2, and then we broke through the high.
Was there
of
like
wave
some
1.
hidden
So
news
this
that
for me
we?
tells me that we're in a wave 3 position. We're just seeing this kind of correction back after 3 very strong.
Not aware of
upwards.
today?
So boom, boom, boom. Then,
Holy
early on last
smokes.
week, we had a push higher and slammed lower. So people are taking profits just after the
Order
break
filled.
of these levels. So a little bit of a pullback.
Stop filled.
And as I said before, I'm probing
Ouch.
the long side now. Now that we've seen the kind of the break of, we've broken through last week's low, which usually tells us.
Okay, we might be
the end
close
of
to
the
our
correction
1,000
is
here.
pretty nigh.
We
Once
are
we've
close to
broken
our
through
1,000
previous
here.
Order
lows,
filled.
it's a
We're
shallow
gonna take.
correction,
Nope,
as I
move it. Let
expect
me move
this
that.
one will be. So that's really
That
where I
will
am,
take us
on
way
the,
over the 1,000.
the
Just
bigger
a heads
picture.
up.
Um,
It is swinging
again.
and moving wildly right now.
Taking a stab at the long side at 113.031, and looking to add, should we get some more strength through today's high, because that will tell me that we've really have made a solid low at 112.875, which is just in that big support zone on the longer term charts. So yeah, let's see what I think what 3.5-4 minutes now for the numbers. See if that produces any directional movement on either the currencies or the other markets.
Stop filled.
Do you follow gold?
All right,
or,
we got some of that
anything
back.
Along those lines. Those
Jeez.
markets?
Yeah, certainly do. So gold, yeah, sure. So the support that we saw, these lower shadows here, I was expecting this thing to actually base and start to go higher, but obviously late yesterday we started to break down, closed the week, and today we're seeing a little bit of follow through.
Yeah.
To come back to. So this is kind of a little previous.
All right, on that
consolidation
note,
here.
this is
A bit lower
our
down, you've got the
actual
as well. So we're into a kind
actual
of, I suppose you could call it a low risk buy zone, but obviously you need to.
This is
see
an
the thing
actual
base out
account.
before you
We
can
did
start to,
get $300
take a shot at it, I think.
for opening this account.
But it'd be nice to see it snap back through today's high. I think
We
can get
started
back
this
through
account
today's
like
high.
way back
That
when they
will
were
trap the sellers
launching and
of
had in the
A
promotion.
leg low.
We just started trading.
If you
Yeah, I
kinda
think
see
we
this
took
as
one
A,
win and
B,
one loss.
C, then whoever
We
sold
had to
it
use
today
$100
is
to
selling the
again
break
give
of
us
the A leg
$100.
low, and that for me would be the kind of
That is the minimum on the trade.
early
So we
warning
took a
of the,
longer position because
completing
what we
this
want to
ABC
do.
correction,
I don't know what the X
for the
is on
time
it
being, just kind of steering clear.
and what the
of
leverage is, but
I mean, I'm in love.
do you want to take over the reins into the number now?
we lose this, we'll have to
let's do it.
deposit
We've got
money
3
in.
minutes left. See how the
But
market reacts.
as you can see, the
Still-
moves
still
aren't
two.
very crazy. This is going to be a kind of a long-term trade, and it's only going to give us like $2 or something like that, or a buck. But
Just
this
waiting
is
for that.
real
Just to
account.
see what has the stock market. So they do
real
anything
account.
into
We
the
do
kind
have
of
other
bubble
ones.
that we have.
You
Full
see there on
real.
the
And it's not in your
NASDAQ
face,
now.
right? Like that is very nice to look
Price
at.
is moving lower. It's actually breaking through that fair value gap.
I mean, it's a huge aha moment.
And again, you know, this
Very
could all be
huge.
anticipation
Like,
of weak numbers,
oh my
maybe,
gosh.
or whatever the case may be. So
different one
another good
happened.
reason of
Where do I
not
go?
trying to get into a trade so close to a news event. For me to get bullish here, still in maybe break of this most recent low that formed at 941, then a move back up, and then fair value gaps that form that I use for my trade entry, maybe. But yeah.
Take out some of the sellers.
Yeah, just flush them out first. Or alternative prices goes lower, right? What's crude oil doing here? Crude oil. I've been looking at a 1 minute there already. So we got about a minute or so left. I'll quickly look at crude here. So price did take out that little cluster there, and slight decline, but nothing major. We'll really need to start seeing a strong move lower here. The only
We're
really
gonna have to be
nice
smart with that account.
structure point that I can see is over here. That's pretty far down. Right. Although on a 1 minute time frame.
All right, so that's
too
breaking
bad.
above that resistance line that we
yeah,
set up
a
earlier.
little bit far away from this high, but that's okay.
We're gonna wait for
Price
some
does
sort of
slide
testing.
through
here,
here.
but We're just gonna
Would be a
jump
really
in.
good indication that the next leg low has started. Alternatively, price might just go and still want to take out that wick I've been talking about.
Should have waited for some sort of
Start
testing.
numbers
Stage,
out,
we do
so
see
a little
weakness
bit
then,
of dollar
then.
strength.
So
It just looked like it.
Yeah, a little bit of dollar
It
strength.
just looked like
coming
it was
through.
gonna do what it wanted to do.
all right, so those numbers are out.
Yeah,
Good numbers, 48.7. Well, slightly better on the ISM manufacturing PMI. Manufacturing prices slightly worse. Construction spending
Stop filled.
slightly worse. So I don't know how you want to interpret that. Let's just look at what price action tells us. Again, I still think tomorrow's numbers are going to be way more important than this.
yeah.
So
Order filled.
All right, that's
little
where I
bit of
want to enter now.
volatility at the moment.
Yeah.
Starting
let's
to
find
break
out now.
above.
Boom.
I will take it
So,
now since it looks like
yeah.
it's
Took out-
kind of
took
out the lows
confirming
on
that
the-
that's what it's doing.
Stocks,
Could be wrong.
And then bounce back a bit.
I am wrong.
Yep. Now we're
Don't
going
move
down
this.
again.
I'm gonna let it take it out.
So I'll give it
We
a
are
few
now
minutes to
down
settle
53 for the
Probably
day.
good
On
Stop
that,
four
filled.
minutes.
this
See if
we are
can
very
get a
close to our
direction on
max
this.
loss.
And then we also got this morning.
wanna see this bounce up.
Opening range breakout strategy. This is yesterday.
We're gonna give that one
we
more
mark
go.
off the first 15 minutes. So the opening range of the first 15 minutes starting at 9:30.
I want to see it go above. This is
On a
what
5
happens
minute
when you
time frame, I
gamble
should say.
with the
And
bounce.
what you want to do here?
Don't gamble
is
with the
wait
bounce.
for a 5-minute candle to close out.
That
of
is
it.
not
Order
gonna go
filled.
through.
And then try to take a trade in that direction. Very, very simple strategy, but I do find that you have to really manage. If you do get a move in your direction, move your stop losses, in my opinion, pretty aggressively to see if you can actually milk out as much as a move as possible. But we had one heck of a move out of that yesterday as well. And that was also the what was this on the NASDAQ? That
Amy's not at work. She's on Get Your Guide. Planning
liquidity
for
sweep
trip.
that we've seen here. Price actually took out
With
2 levels.
experiences like hot air balloon rides and ATV
then
adventures,
reverse
start
upwards.
planning with Get Your Guide.
So
Right
around our
smack bang in
line-
the middle of that time window that I like to trade. And those lows actually come from, I can't go back that far, maybe switch to 5 minutes instead.
Let's go with our assumption that we are
Those
coming
lows
lower.
were this high low that formed here on the 25th. And it was also a previous high that occurred on the 23rd. So took out a low, found support at a previous high, right in the middle of my trading window, which I generally expect reversals to occur. And boom. But
Stop
again,
filled.
prices moved way too fast. Didn't have any chance getting into that, unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes the markets
so-
will move so fast you can't take advantage, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you really need to take it. You have to decide. Am I going to reduce my lot size? I won't say chase it. If you get that feeling
Order
that you need to
filled.
get into it, then by all means do it. But if the market's really running away, then I just find then you chase it, you get in, and then you sit through a massive reversal. Then all the emotion starts playing tricks on your mind, and then So I prefer to just follow the strategy. Nice
Yeah,
and
that's never
easy,
good. That's never good.
And then that's normally my picture perfect setup, and they tend to have a very high probability of working out. So, comfortable. with
Might
it
actually
rather
be
than
having a
chasing.
rough day.
Yeah. So crude oil is moving higher.
Might reduce our lot size, start trading with
Maybe change
less.
my chart background to.
Morning, Robert. How you doing? Robert's on the chat. NASDAQ.
Yeah, Robert.
I'm very
That's
scared
why
of
I've been
losing
saying,
this trade
personally,
right
I
now.
don't trade going into a news event. Yeah, we had news event. I won't say as important as tomorrow, but we had the ISM manufacturing PMI, top of the hour, 10 a.m. So there was news, Robert. Short while ago. Depends when you entered, obviously. And before that, we had unemployment claims. That was at 8:30 a.m. Eastern.
Is that weekly?
Yeah. So, what is the market's going to do here? Push up? What's the story? Who knows? Certainly getting a nice push up here on the S&P 500 again.
Might be a buy if it takes out that swing high there.
Yeah.
It's trapped all the short sellers on the news or after the news.
Yeah.
I'm watching for a similar thing on the euro.
Yeah. So if it takes out
Stop
this high
filled.
here,
That could be.
All right.
But ideally, like I said, quite often if you get these fair value gaps formed during a breakout, they're very often a very good indication of momentum. And obviously, a decision-making area where you could place your entry orders, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why I look at both the SPX and the NASDAQ, because sometimes the one leads the other, and sometimes you get a break of
I
structure.
don't know what's going
lower
on right
down
here,
or higher
man.
up, depending which direction the market's moving, closer to an actual swing point.
Look how it's
More on the
starting
one
to.
than the other, or the one gets a fair value gap, the other doesn't. So that's why I like.
There is a
trading
minor
both.
divergence
You
there.
really need to be quite awake and switching between charts very, very quickly.
Let's see how this reacts
There
right
we've got a
here.
Gap. That's probably
Order
right.
filled.
I need to refresh my platform.
Oh, it's breaking. It's gonna break it.
There we go. That's that. Oh, I'm all over the place here. Correctly, guys. Apologize. Yeah, but same thing.
It did change that. It did make a lower low and a lower low.
Price structure points also now way up here.
There's a lot more.
But again, guys, it's not
Sell
necessarily
volume.
going to take out that. We might just continue lower today. So a few things need to happen, and that's why I like to see these things fall in place. And when they do fall in place, you execute. So you work with a plan, and it tends to keep me focused. If they don't appear, then that's it. I don't trade it.
If it breaks this
That's the best
structure
way.
here,
You
we're gonna
filter out
probably
how
jump
much
back in.
whipsaws and all the rest of it, can't you?
Yeah.
We should
Nothing
wait
happened
for it to
with crude
test that
currently.
line, but we
Let's
aren't
see
doing
what
that.
We might just make another low again.
Yeah,
Continue
no.
lower.
Yeah, my euros having a think about making new lows now. We're back under 113, so I'm out at break even.
Are you
just
out?
waiting for. Yeah. I had my stop at break even, so I've got a buy trigger. Let me just, if I can just quickly go in there, just to
Yeah, please do.
show it, just in case we get a reversal. It looks like it wants to go down at the moment, but should we get some kind of
All right, at least we
late
pulled some
reversal
back in.
from these levels. So obviously
We gotta
had
wait
the
for this.
initial
Actually, we
bounce from
should
the
have
area,
waited a little bit to see if it comes back
stalled
down or not.
around
If it breaks above
previous
back
session
that,
high, and then chop, and now since the number
yeah, it's
started to
breaking
break
above it.
down.
Come on,
So at the moment,
let's see it.
I'm
Let's
flat,
do it.
I'm out of it. But should we get back above?
I think we
3%
hold on
rally
this account
candles,
over here on the
previous
left
rally
side. We'll
candles high,
probably try to bring some of this back here.
27, 28, that would be a bullish upside.
See what happens. It might.
Obviously, right now it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But if for whatever reason we do,
We need
to
this
get
to break
above
above this
levels,
support line,
then that
come
for
up,
me would say we've
test it,
seen a good successful
and then go
retest
back up.
of
If
the
it starts to
lows,
do that,
but,
we'll probably
then
enter
I'll
in
go
another
long. But for now,
big trade.
let the bears have it, because that's what
Right
that's
now,
what wants to happen right now.
it looks like it wants to push
I
above
guess the
it.
lesson is don't get in the way of momentum.
Although we are
have a
seeing
trigger
a
level,
shift in
that
momentums,
says where you
but
think momentum has changed.
that is fine. That does happen. As this happens, this is
Yeah, it
on
might
a
still just
300
wanna,
tick.
same sort
So
of
it is
thing,
moving
run
above
its
it.
lows and then you see it move back up.
Yeah, that
You got a
can,
nice stop just above that green candle there prior to this current 1 hour.
this one, yeah, exactly. That's where I am.
All right,
That's
so
where I am.
now we're
yeah, we get
above.
back above there, then I'm in. But
Was that the
doesn't happen,
test?
I'm
It
not-
could have been the
I'm not
test.
trade. But because my longer term outlook is bearish basing, bullish basing,
Yeah.
I'm attacking it from the buy side, not the sell side. So
Yeah.
I'm obviously
No,
missing
again,
it.
also,
Now
price
that it's
wants to
come
go
up
that
high
direction,
enough,
you got a good chance it will continue doing.
That's
'cause
that's
it's
the
like-
plan.
I'm gonna
that-
put it just below.
Exactly. Yeah, I like the idea of the short-term momentum proving itself.
Just because we're
coming
hitting
into
this
line with the longer-term
zone
outlook.
here where,
But
you know, there's
obviously
it's a
you're
good
you're
possibility
missing,
that it might just
the move
reverse
lower,
back
but,
down now.
you can't trade
I'm
it.
gonna bring this down just a hair.
guess
You
you
can
have to
see
come in with a
that
view
there.
and go for
We
the
are reaching a zone
trigger
that it
levels.
typically bounces from.
Gotcha.
So
Back
that's
down. So
that's where I am.
we're
It's,
just gonna chill out,
it's,
hang out for a
headed
sec,
down.
see what it
I'm not in any
does.
position at this moment, but waiting
Who knows?
to buy.
Who knows what it
if
wants to do?
And only if we get a decent reversal.
Awesome.
But we tend to do this, as you can see, it is past 7 o'clock. This is where we,
What's happening?
again, kind of mentioned that we think this is about the area we start winning our trades in between the 7 and 30. I do feel like around 7:30 we start losing our trades.
Again, I'm not going to force any trades.
I think we're gonna
Things have
pull
to
out
fall
here.
in place. It's a very sort of methodological approach that I take, and you know, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like
Starting
on
to roll
Monday, I
over.
took 3
Yeah, we are.
trades. First 2 were losers, and the third one actually made up for everything. So
We'll let it hit
but I
that.
didn't force any trades. Just follow the
Boom.
setup. You know, and you're never going to get 100%
Boom, let's
win
go.
rate. There's no such thing.
We're gonna keep
but
it
I do
tight.
find I typically do not want to trade take more than 2 losses, but I had a good stomach feel on Monday that I want to do another one. The price sort of proved that it wants to go lower. In that case, I took a short, and then we had a nice decline finally. Big, but again, very very choppy. And this is prior to price actually, finally breaking out of this area. This is actually this move to the downside that we've seen. What was it? A few days ago.
That was quite a fake out, wasn't it? That move.
Yeah,
down?
yeah,
What was there? Was there a
So-
trigger on that? Was it a piece of news or something that came out?
yeah. There was news earlier. What
All
was it
right,
again?
we're doing pretty good.
Let me have a look here on the calendar.
Bringing some of this
That was,
back.
sorry, that was yesterday that moved lower. I'm talking about a much smaller move lower that occurred on
Stop
Monday.
filled.
That was the 28th. There was no
Sweet.
news on Monday.
We're up for the week.
No news.
I guess just
As you can see
overnight
now,
kind of Trump news.
we're down
perhaps, over the
272
weekend, Trump
for the
tweet.
day.
Tweet.
Who knows?
I
all
remember,
we
I
can
remember those
ask for,
days very
man.
well from the last time he was in power.
That's all we can ask
tweets
for.
in the Asian
Here we
session,
go.
dollar yen had blast higher like 100 pips.
Well, this today was kind of rough. Today was kind of rough. We actually were up a little bit more, and we did take.
Is that settling above?
This morning we took some losses on that account. Let's just put it that way. I think we started with like 61, and then we brought it up to like 81, and we would have stayed in. We obviously would have been in way better profit. It was swinging really a lot.
This might be corrective, maybe just the first leg higher.
This account I tried to protect a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, it's had
these two accounts. These two accounts are the 50K accounts.
Daily candles. It's had
we are 561 in profit. These two on this side we can work with. It's $300,000
Did you trade
account.
You said before we started you trade crude, didn't you?
Our max loss
I managed to
days
catch
are
a couple of bits
$1,000
on the way down. I didn't get the whole swing, but I had a couple of good short.
It's 7 days, but basically with the way trailing works, I consider it 5 days. We have 6K to work with.
Because for me it was just that typical. Should I show the chart just to?
Yeah, the way we have like 2K.
Not much happening here with me at the
So
moment.
we can't. We actually only need to get to 3. We were pretty close last month, and then we blew it. We blew it beginning of the month. We wanted the win so hard.
Descending triangle.
I feel like that's gonna fake me out. Like I want to jump in there for the long side, but
And then we had the
I
snap
think
back,
no.
the retest.
I think not.
And that for me was straight out the textbook. Sometimes the textbooks are right, but
Maybe we go in with less
broken
here.
support becomes resistance. The stuff that you read, which most of the time it's true. But yeah, I used that. So I saw the snap back and I thought, okay, I'm going to wait for the ABC.
See what happens
the ABC
here?
performed quite well as
Oh,
I can find actually on the intraday chart. I had it labeled quite well. Oh, that was it. Yeah. So that's the bottom of the bear market or the swing, and there's the A leg, there's the B leg, and wave C always divides into 5 waves, unless it's part of a triangle, which it wasn't. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's that kind of marginal new high for to complete C. So 1, A, B, and C. That's the top. There's the first leg down of the new cycle. There's the second wave correction.
I don't know about my JPY trade anymore.
So that the Elliott wave combined with the classical break of a big pattern.
This was one of the other accounts.
For me, that's really what got me on the bear tack for this market. As you say, maybe we're just doing a bit of a sort of an upside correction. Could be an ABC type thing, and then we go down again. I think it will eventually break that low.
Or on the day, we probably do end up high.
It's an ABC, and more often than not, ABC moves are corrective and they get completely retraced. So this could be sort of the early stage.
I think I'm good to sell this
to the upside. Might take a couple of days.
Kind of a
3 days
longer term situation here.
Again.
That'll be 14.
But certainly today, it seems to be.
I want to move higher, right?
Yeah, so you had that really impulsive move down, and now we're just kind of, I think we're in chop mode. So yeah, I think on the sidelines for the time being, and
I think that's the trade we want.
Excuse to sell it once,
and we are going to
once
take
the structure's complete. The second wave, by the way, it was like a sort of a choppy range thing.
So it looks like it did break above,
false breakout to the upside,
and it might continue up.
Top and then down you go, kind of thing.
This is our funded account, I believe.
It's a funny market.
And if I'm not mistaken, we cannot lose
three-wave
anymore.
moves, don't you, against the trend? You don't. The first leg down isn't always the complete correction for this market. It seems. It always seems to be like a C leg somewhere.
We are doing the greatest on our funded
accounts.
accounts. I do like this Tradelocker
trend, like here as well.
Platform. If there was a platform we were going to go for.
That's it. And that's kind of what I'm looking
Order
for.
filled.
Euro dollar, really, is that kind of final push just to complete the correction. Before
we jumped way too early. I mean, we jumped way too late.
But obviously, when the trend resumes,
Why did we do that, guys?
Something pretty clear like that big reversal like that.
You can't be doing things like that.
Or a kind of a step,
Don't do it.
kind of a change, change of structure, if you will. Kind of 1, 2, 1, 2 like that. So that's the kind of thing I'm waiting for now on euro dollar. Ideally looking to buy the break if we get a big intraday reversal, but otherwise I'll be looking for a kind of a turn in trend on the shorter term charts.
Right. Yeah, guys, it's just been very choppy, on my side.
Stop filled.
We're scared, man. We're so scared.
Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Who knows?
It's all over the
You
shop.
just go out a little bit. We, sort of in a range, right?
Gotta be done.
I mean, this might be some sort of.
Today was crazy, man. I don't think we followed any of our strategies. I think we went a little crazy.
So you got these fluctuations above and below.
We went with pure price action.
Boom, 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 boom. Is it still moving lower? Was this the end of the E wave of expanding triangle? I don't know.
Just it takes out the buyers, takes out the sellers. It's just all over the shop. Yeah, I guess you need to wait for a kind of a break and settlement above or below.
Yeah, I mean, it's like yesterday, they had a very strong move upwards. Finally cleared up here above that zone. As I mentioned, we're in that 4-hour, what's his name here, fair value gap. But yeah, if you look at the 5-minute time frame,
So you did see across here.
very choppy.
We are seeing
There's
somewhat of a bit
not much
of
to
a
do.
possibility, but this is the 15
Yeah,
second.
as I mentioned, I
but
want this week just to pass.
I think 15
so
seconds
hopefully we get some
more.
direction.
Yeah,
Yes, the market's been moving upwards, but it's been actually
When you're kind of locking in for that last little bit.
Do you find the market moves a whole lot before the day before non-farm on the stocks?
No,
Not
no,
so much.
generally hanging around
Yeah.
sideways, choppy price action, and it's very easy. Even if you get your setups, you should probably take them, but it's just been very frustrating. You sit during these phases where prices run sideways and chop. Yeah, yesterday obviously break above that area that I've shown on the 4-hour, but not just chop.
I hesitated on taking profit there, even though it was a little bit. I was hesitating on taking profit
It's a bit
there and wanting to
frustrating.
re-enter
Doubt
on
it'll
here.
actually take a trade today by the looks of things.
It was
but,
fine.
Who knows?
Anyways, we're getting really close to having to go to the works.
We got crude oil moving lower again.
Booking.com has all kinds of stays.
We are looking at
Because a romantic
JPY.
hotel works for some,
But
not
maybe
JPY.
just an ABC.
others. Find exactly what
Especially
you're
after
booking
such a
for.
strong move up.
Booking.com,
Maybe
booking.yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, could be something like that. Yeah.
That is flowing up just fine.
Yeah, so
I feel like we ended up
Gotta be
going
patient,
negative on
guys.
our break funded. This is
I'm
one of
not
our
trading
first
tomorrow.
ones. This is
I'm
like our
actually-
second one.
I've got the day off. So
Yeah, we ended up going
that's
negative
another reason
here.
I can't wait for the weekend so I can just start afresh on Monday again.
Yeah.
Robert, did you get into trades again? You still around, Robert? Again, to any of our other viewers, if you got any questions, please drop them there. Things are a little bit slow on the side here, on our side.
Yeah.
Still got about, 24 minutes left before the session ends. So please fire away, guys. Let's talk about stuff. Now's the time to ask. Ask questions. Yeah, this is nothing to do here.
Maybe we could take a look at some of the like Bitcoin and things like that. That seems to have broken higher out of the sideways consolidation.
Yeah, you wanna show us?
I'm not trading it, but obviously just keeping an eyeball on it. Come through. Yeah, so Yeah, so we had that kind of big thrust higher, and then I guess a little bit like the stock market, where you saw all these kind of small ranges up and down and just directionless stuff. But looks quite promising, you know, a bit of a thrust out of a sideways pattern in a bullish phase. Obviously, we got next levels, I suppose, is we've got what, 98. Yeah, all these kind of 99 and a half. Yeah, nice kind of big resistance level there, 99 and a half, and 100 obviously the round number. Also the high for that day.
Sitting on the fib retracement from the all-time highs to that 74,458.
Okay, what from here to here?
Yeah.
That looks a bit. Let me see.
Over 61.8 currently. Maybe very near.
Yeah, trying to find where my retracement levels are.
Actually down for that trade.
Yeah, they're all the way down. Oh, they're not there on yours.
Yeah, not brilliant. Okay. So let's take a look.
Yeah, but it's more than midway of a retracement currently. You can see that visually.
Yeah, it's a good
I didn't know it was on the day.
Time being.
Yeah.
Normally I'm like on the hour when I open it up.
Yeah, fading too much.
No.
I mean, to be fair, I've had a kind of for me, I've had this as a major top in terms of 5 waves up from.
It might still be
2020. It might still be, yeah. It could be like a retest, a double top, and then we break down. But at the moment, momentum is just that strong. I think I don't want.
Or if I'm gonna go for the day,
not until
I want to
see,
say here
a clear sign of topping. Maybe back into this range, 88,760 and below. Because we've got this kind of pivotal level here, which was the old double top level.
I'm not really happy with where I am
and
on
the
it.
retest here, which it retested, broke down, made a new low for this kind of
if it pulls, we'll get
and now we're back above it, settling above it. So not something I want to be fading until there's clearer evidence.
That trade.
Cool. What's the dollar? Do you watch the dollar index on your side?
Yeah, I do. Let me pull that one up. So I guess that's probably heading a little bit higher.
I know you got that third wave count down.
All right.
Yeah.
But do you think we're correcting just slightly up at the moment?
Yeah. So
we're gonna go ahead and put 31,100.
Yeah.
In
let's just pull that up.
31,104.
Okay, should be coming through.
There we go.
Here we go. That's the one. Yeah. So yes, obviously the long-term count is still pretty much intact. So again, ABC, X, ABC to complete it. A bear market rally. We go back a bit further. I think the thing was even higher at the Plaza Accord top. The dollar was even higher than the highest point on the chart. So we're in a long-term dollar downtrend on a multi-year basis, multi-decade basis. And from 2008, we've seen a bear market rally, in my opinion.
All right,
so
we are in profit.
This upper
area
orange line is the double top breakout point from 2002. So the bull market or the bear market rally topped out just above there.
This account,
pulled back, retest, couldn't quite make it. ABC.
I know that I want to modify this one yet.
Through this support level. So
there you go.
Professional grade air conditioning parts and solutions. Trust the pros that know.
So yeah, so from the top we have
Two trees
wave
are
1,
regrown for
an
every
ABC
tree
correction
used.
of it. So ABC correction of the so we have one down, ABC correction of wave 1, which is wave 2 there, and then we've broken down in the early stages of what I think is wave 3, which
Okay, I don't know where this is.
much lower.
So that is
here.
3
If
3
not lower, because the longer term count is for new lows.
0
but in the short term,
3306. That's where I'm gonna put my.
We make money in the shorter term, really. In the short term, so we've seen that kind of big kind of thrust down. So we're just in that choppy phase, really. Correcting. I think what we're doing is we're just literally correcting last month. I think we could see this thing make a new low for this swing without coming back in quite strongly.
All right.
I guess that's where the
now it doesn't matter what this does.
But if we go back,
I like
to
it.
The similar stage of the cycle where I think we are, I think we're kind of here by comparison. And this saw 1, 2, 3 very strong candles, or very weak candles rather.
Let's drop this back out to the 4 hour.
The correction that we saw after that double top breakout, that came from a very low point. So we actually went all the way down here before we could see a decent correction.
This is kind of bouncing back up.
Of that move out. So I think maybe that for me means coming down.
But
perhaps another month before we see a bit of a bit of a bounce.
Breached this 30-minute.
But that's really kind of where we're at. I think we're in the acceleration phase, lower on dollar index, but obviously right now.
So we did bounce underneath.
Yeah,
come up above
exactly.
the daily.
And that's the thing. That's why I've been so aggressive on this thing, is because I think it is a third wave. And once the market really gets going, it really does get going, and the corrections tend to be quite shallow. Yes, but in the short term, we just seems to be kind of stabilizing a little bit around here, having done the break. But I don't see the thing going significantly back into the range. And I think that's really where the rub would be at the moment. People would be thinking this is a great place to buy because it's the bottom of the range, and maybe it goes back. Whether you're bullish or bearish long term, we come back into the range and maybe test the middle or the high end. That could be a scenario if you're looking at this. But my scenario is quite bearish. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see this thing kind of falter in early May, might be next week, and then we see an extension of this move.
No, so this is what happens.
Sell in May and go away, they say.
I'm so glad we only put.
How's that work in the stock market?
One contract.
Is that a good one? Does it work?
I actually googled that today because I forgot that saying, and it's like, and it's like it pops up all over the news channels. Like, is it going to happen this year? Sell in May, go away. It's like, who knows? I don't rely on things like that, but statistically, apparently, that's what happens. Before we look at the charts again, we got some responses here from Robert. So I was asking you if he's been trading. So he's been basically breaking even today. So it's good. It's starting to expect what his scalp should be doing, but I'm not confident in our chop yet. It's definitely same here, Robert. Just very, very choppy. Probably best sitting on your hands, or I definitely am going to be sitting on my hands for the rest of today's session. Go home, take it easy tomorrow, and then hopefully I'll be watching the news events as they come out, see what price does. Probably on my phone tomorrow, and then hopefully come in Monday fresh and start getting some trades out. Most of my trades happened earlier this week. And yesterday I took a very small trade on crude oil, but I had to close it. It was before the crude oil inventories. Very small scalp.
That's like the crude oil non-farm payrolls, isn't it?
Not a good trade, guys. Actually, I'm going to tell you right now, this trade right here was only hoping that we get back into positive.
So I got out of that.
Thankfully, that worked out. That is not what you should do. Now, what I should have done.
It actually took out the overnight session low. There was a 1 minute fair value gap. Price pulled beautifully into it, had a nice little move upwards, and then that was, I think, 5 minutes before the news event came out, I got out. So it was a nice little quick $50 move there for a few minutes, and I was happy with that. So overall, I don't want to end the week with a loss, although I do trade my setups when they occur, not worry about whether they're going to work out or not. But knowing that the NFP numbers are coming out, then maybe it's just best taking a rain check.
Yeah. Robert's asking about sterling dollar. Catch a short at 33.124. So yeah, if you did that, well, great move. That's so we had the corrective bounce today, and then obviously it's starting to head down. Eurodollar's making new lows, but cable is not yet making new lows. But it looks like it wants to head on down. Let me just share the screen to show the chart there. I'm doing nothing in cable at the moment. As I say, I start to see some. So we're stuck in a big range, but we are gravitating towards the top end of the range. We've not seen a kind of whereas previously you hit the top of the range and then you're down for a number of weeks, whereas here we had the kind of down, straight back up again, stabilization, bullish outside week. Now we're making new highs for this little swing. So maybe we're about to see an upside breakout on the yen crosses, which would go in line with perhaps the stock market, starting to trend higher again. So just a little observation there, because I know the yen crosses, the so-called
See,
yen
and this
carry
is
trade,
a prime example here. I'll just show you right
tends to
now
work when the
before we
stock
leave
market
to
is doing
work.
well.
Why taking that short to try and break even was not the move. It could have just started a rocket shipping upwards,
so
like we
even
thought
with dollar yen kind of
this
topping
might
in,
do.
heading lower, the yen crosses can still move higher.
So like on a euro yen, pound yen.
Yeah, exactly.
I do want to see it bounce here.
Yen, pound yen as well.
It's you in bloom.
Let's just do the same thing with the pound yen.
Pretty much the
Born to be a
So
wildflower.
made its top. Yeah, so I think by comparison, sterling has been a bit weaker than the
In
euro,
full color.
and it's been kind of making kind of lower highs and lower lows, but not in a very
Make
impulsive
everyday
looking way.
beautiful.
Oh, I still want to take this trade.
Almost. So
This is
maybe
the
some
age
kind of fourth
possibility.
wave
Shop
thing
now
going
at
on here
QVC.
within the longer term trend.
You ever bought Reese's while eating Reese's?
We're
Perhaps a
not.
triangle,
That is
maybe
some boss.
CD
We should,
kind of thing.
but we're not.
But it certainly doesn't look like it wants to be impulsive to the downside.
We're just gonna be
on
happy
the
for what we
strength
have,
of all this
guys.
kind of
We
action
just
over the last, few months.
we brought back some of that. Yeah, I
so
mean, you guys
sterling,
seen
so
we
euro yen,
started with
sterling yen, they
negative
both look
500
like they want to be thinking
because
about
of our
upside
after hours
breakouts. Obviously, on this one, we've got a key swing
trades
point
yesterday.
at,
So
just
when we
below
do that,
196
that is considered the next day,
on sterling,
and we're gonna
but
go ahead and
I think you
consider
take
that the next day.
196, then it's
So
off to the
that's why we
races.
only had 500 to work with
That
instead of
one.
1,000. We got pretty
So
close
yeah,
to
I think just something
1,000,
that kind of ties in a little bit with some
luckily,
kind of
we
stock
did find a
market
trade
strength.
that did get us back and made us some decent profits on the trade. So that brought us down to being negative 238 for the day.
Daily.
So this
We're seeing an
morning,
extension a bit more,
this
bit
morning's
lower,
profit
still nibbling away at this
would
kind of
be about
support zone
200.
here. So again,
that brought us
pre-payroll,
into the weekly
tomorrow,
profit of
interested to see
120.
Whether the sellers today that
Sounds like it
selling
was a
at
rough
whether
week.
they're
Didn't
ultimately
really move
happy
anywhere.
or not by the end of tomorrow, I think.
I think we're overall
just a
in
larger
profit
seat
here
on
this
the way.
week.
Maybe
If I'm not
trading
mistaken,
inside
we
the
were
think
negative this week.
potential A. Because we also got a pretty
Definitely
large
negative
fair
here,
value
and then
gap
we did
here
find.
on the daily there.
But
There we go. That can't go long
that is
range
it.
over there.